I was just thinking to myself, what is the thing that I don't want to video journal about? And that is love, relationships, meeting new people, connection. That's what I'm hiding the most from everybody, because I feel a lot of emotions, a lot of guilt, confusion, loneliness, like a longing, like an emptiness, because I want to meet someone, but I don't want to feel selfish. Like I feel like maybe too selfish, like too self-centered, too on my path, like I'm on a solo mission. And I guess I've also taken on everybody else, because I've always been like, I want like this really exceptional, deep connection, intimacy, like a 10 out of 10, you know, everything. I want it all. Like I don't just want, I want to tick all the boxes for not only myself, but I want the other person that I'm with to be able to say, yeah, Kai meets all of my desires, like everything that I would want in a partner. And you know, for ages I was like, everybody does this, and or like everybody would want this. But as I've explored and observed, it's pretty niche, really. Like, how many people actually prioritize finding love in their lives? Like, I know, like when you're a teenager and you first start, like your hormones come online and all of that, you have your little crushes and stuff, and it feels like it's the most important thing in the world. And I guess maybe one way you could look at it is I never grew up from that. Like, I'm still looking for my high school sweetheart type vibe or something, but it's not that. It's definitely matured from that. I'm not looking for that kind of relationship at all, like just a lust and like hormone driven thing, like, but I'm looking for something that's like feels that way, the feeling of just like, this is what I want, and I will do anything to maintain and sustain it. And I've had relationships that have been that beautiful as well, and the truth is that I just didn't have what it takes in that moment in time to maintain them, and I had all my own issues and stuff, and I was reacting, and a relationship can only endure so much before it's like more painful to stay than it is to leave. I guess that's what a breakup is. A mature breakup. Like, I don't know. That's the reason why I don't talk about it, because I don't know. But yeah, I've had the one thing that I really, really enjoy is like intimacy, but not like, it doesn't have to be sexual even. Like some of the experiences that I've had have just been just wholehearted, like without any kind of physical touch even required, or minimal, like a hug or something like that is the the most physical that it gets, it can still be so rewarding and fulfilling to have that connection. I know people who are the opposite of this. They don't want any of the romantic side of things or the intimate side of things. They just want somebody that they can trust, or somebody that's just there, present. They're just somebody that is familiar and available and just present, and that's enough. But I wonder as well how much trauma plays into that, like stuff that we're stuck in. Maybe like some people don't want the intimacy and the romance and the different aspects of relating because they've been hurt and they don't know how to receive that, or they don't know how to give that. And even myself, I've been on a crazy long exploration figuring out how to give and receive love effectively. Effectively sounds so clinical, but like just I want to be a good lover. And I've explored all kinds of things, and I actually think that I am a good lover now. Ego aside, like when I do meet people and connect with them, the feedback is positive. One thing that I've been drawn to a lot is the idea of helping other men figure this out. Because I think I've spent more time on intimacy and love and relationships, like developing my understanding and my way of being in these ways. Like I could be very helpful, but I've got the word is shyness. Like I feel shy to reveal, and there's vulnerability there too. I feel vulnerable to reveal how much I care about love and intimacy and connection. And I always hold my cards really close and my boundaries are up, and I don't let people in. But then I also have this issue where like sometimes I'll get infatuated and I'll just drop my boundaries completely and go the opposite. Like it's the other extreme. I'll just like let somebody into my heart and soul instantly, and it's overwhelming for me, it's overwhelming for them, and it's not sustainable. I'm trying to avoid it. I've done so much work on this stuff. I think I'm ready. Like I think I'm genuinely ready to, like I've met all these amazing women and I'm really grateful for these experiences, and I love that I've learned so much from everybody that I've interacted with. But I think I'm ready to meet like a life partner. And it's another thing that I think about, like you want to spend as much time as possible with this person that you're going to share your life with. And by the time I get over all my bullshit and stop, pushing all of the best opportunities away because I feel I'm not ready, that's what I do. Like all these, the best connections that I have are the ones that I pursue the least. Like I've been sabotaging myself by choosing. It's a control thing. It's another, probably a trauma response thing, similar, that kind of, I want to be in control, so I'll go with somebody that I'm not afraid to lose, which is fucked up. It's not fair. I've probably been doing that for a while. This feels very different, but my intention was very different. I said, what do I not want to talk about? And I think I've done this a few times, similar, like, okay, what do I not want to talk about? And then all this stuff comes out. So maybe that could even be a new exercise for a little while. Just, okay, video journal, what do I not want to talk about? And then just let it flow. It's feeling less and less vulnerable because I'm realizing that this moment, what I'm experiencing now, because I am growing, it's not relevant in the future. Like, I don't have to be afraid that people are going to come and watch this particular moment and form an opinion about who I am as a person. And maybe they do, because they just watch this one video and they go, that's that. But like anybody who's actually involved in like watching me becoming, you would see that like I'm not the person that I was in the journal 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and I won't be this person in the future. So I'm getting used to like not feeling vulnerable about it, or like, well, I still feel vulnerable, but like feeling like I shouldn't do it. Like I need to keep my boundaries up. It's safe. What is anybody going to do with this information? What if we all felt that way? What if we could all just express ourselves and feel safe? That, all of the judgment and criticism in the world can't actually harm you, because in 2 weeks' time you'll be a different person. Like, if you're growing, I think the only reason why you would feel really vulnerable and like attacked or like, unsafe sharing your truth would be if you do have no intention of growing and learning from it. Like, if I was just like, I'm a really bad person, for example, if I was just like, yeah, I'm a shit person and I do all these bad things, and then, next week it was the same story, that would be different, wouldn't it? But I guess maybe there is a little bit of that going on. There's some things that like I have not resolved yet, but even those things I can relax a little bit. I don't need to be so strict with myself. Ooh. Love, man. Who's in love? Who actually has like that profound connection that I'm looking for? One of the most important lessons that I've learned about relationships is that never think a relationship is perfect. And even if it does feel perfect, be prepared for challenges and be prepared to work and like have moments of time where it's not great. I had a neurosis around that. Like, neurosis is like where you're trying to make reality conform to what you think it should be. So if you get really neurotic, you might be like driving on the road and like the person in front of you is doing 55 and the speed limit's 60, and you just can't get over like, they should be doing 60, they should be doing 60, they should be doing 60. Like, that's neurosis, right? So in relationships, I've had like a neurotic thing where I'm like, if she's the one, then we should be able to sort things out. Like we shouldn't have conflicts that goes unresolved. Like there shouldn't be disagreements that last forever. Like maybe we have like a little hiccup here and there, a little bit of a battle, and then it gets resolved. In the past, like, because I believed that you can't have an unresolved conflict in a relationship. Like, that was a belief that I held. How can, like, that is absurd in the present moment when I'm thinking about it, and maybe you're having your own insights too, like, oh damn, if I have that expectation, like, that's ridiculous. It's not fair on anybody, because not everything in the world, like, not every battle that you have can lead to a compromise or a resolution. Or, you know, like, sometimes you're just going to disagree with somebody. And if it's your life partner that you're spending, like, that you've invested the most energy, emotions and time and probably money with, then you should give them more freedom than anybody else to disagree and, like, do their own thing and be free. And, like, you have unresolved conflicts all the time with everybody else on the planet. Like, you might be at work and you have a disagreement with your boss, and, like, that doesn't get resolved and you just leave it. But then, like, I had this neurotic expectation of my partners that, like, we had to sort it out. And there's some things that, like, you can just let it go. That's just one example though. Like, what else? What else have I learned? It's all around, like, effort, because I had that belief that it was supposed to be effortless, and, like, if you love somebody, that love would just solve everything. I don't know, I think that's another relatable one. Love will just solve everything. Is if I just love them enough. I know a lot of people have done that one with, like, people that have got serious issues, like drug addiction and, like, mental health stuff, and they're like, I'll just love them enough and they'll get better. But this is sort of semi-related, but if you love somebody for doing something, if somebody gets love for doing the wrong thing, you are basically programming that person to continue to do that bad thing. So if somebody takes a bunch of drugs and then, like, says, like, oh, I want to change, and then you go, oh, I love you, and just give them love, then the program that they're learning is, I do a bunch of drugs, then I say I'm sorry and I get love. So it's almost like, I'm gonna obviously keep doing a bunch of drugs because that's how it works. Like, I've got to do the thing that creates harm so that people care, so that I get love. And, like, even in, like, family and friendships, this happens a lot as well. So how do we be responsible for how we're showing up so that we're not creating any of those patterns? Like, I know in the past, like, when I'm over it, like, and I'm, like, everything's feeling really hard, I'll get sooky. And that's how I got love in previous relationships. Like, and all that would do is, like, encourage me to think about the negatives, like, and come up, like, tell the story of my day or my week or whatever as, like, a negative story, so that I could get that sympathy and love and cuddles, and you know, that's something to be aware of, isn't it? Like, we want to give each other love for the right reasons, and we want to even be conscious about how we give love. Like, I don't want to meet somebody and establish a relationship around complaining about everything that's really hard in life, or, you know, having disagreements and then reassuring each other with, like, intimacy and, like, physical touch and sex, or even giving gifts or whatever. Like, don't want any of those kinds of things to sneak back in. And I guess, like, I could go on all day talking about all of the lessons that I've learned and the things that I want to create, but even that could be, like, a neurotic expectation. Like, I want this, like, I want everybody to understand, like, we don't want to give love, blah, 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 everything I just said. But also, like, I want to meet somebody, but I don't want to meet somebody where like, you kind of want to meet somebody on the level that you're at, somebody who's already had these insights, or maybe they didn't have to go through all that stuff and learn the lessons the way that I did, but they already got it. Like, they already kind of understand, like, I want to create like healthy patterns and behaviors with this other person and share meaningful experiences and have a relationship that's based on, it doesn't cost so much from either person or both people. Like, it fills your cup because you're just both overflowing with your own creativity and abundance and joy and all the good stuff. And when you put those two things together, it just amplifies. It's like a 10x multiplier. That's my crazy expectation for what I want to have in my life. It's taken a long time even to get to this point, and I'm just standing alone in the wilderness on a log. But I feel like I've made progress towards creating this relationship that I want. Relationships are the one thing, man, like, for me, where I feel like you create the job that you want, you get the car that you want, any like material stuff, you can create it, and it's fine, because it's like you're the only one, really. Like, if you're trying to manifest the job that you want, like, there's bosses and managers and people that are involved in that process, but it's not so intimately connected that it matters so much. You can kind of carve out your spot in reality in all these other areas of life so easily, I feel. But with relationships, because it's so intimately connected, and it's like you come together to share a manifestation in a lot of ways, like to create something together. Man, maybe I just need to do some teamwork shit, like, so just go do a bunch of workshops on how to be less antisocial and, like, how to, work with others, like, go back to, like, preschool level, like, just share the Lego with the other kids, like, stop trying to, like, have your thing and, like, not let anybody else touch it. That's my issue. I don't know, like, I'm working through a lot of different things in a lot of different ways right now, so it's like this is in progress. It's not like solid anymore, like, it's all loosening up, and this is why maybe the way that I'm expressing it is a bit all over the place. I was trying to say that this is difficult. Relationships are difficult because it's so intimately connected, and you're working on something that's so special to both of you together, and you both want it to be how you want it to be. So if you really want to have, like, the most high value, profound, like, connected experience with another human being, you have to be patient, I reckon, and you have to be, like, willing to, like, take the time to explore who this person really is before you start, like, before you even, like, back to the Lego analogy, before you even put down the first piece of Lego, like, hang out for a while and figure out what you actually want to build together. I've just slowed down so much in so many areas of my life. It's the weirdest feeling because I'm so patient, and I feel like I'm slow in here, but everything's going like 1,000,000 miles an hour on the outside. And I think ages ago I made an analogy about, like, a mountain bike, and when you get moving on the mountain bike, you slowly go up the gears, and you get up to, like, the 21st gear, and you're still pedaling slowly, like your legs are moving slowly, your feet are moving slowly on the pedals, but the energy that you're producing is moving the actual vehicle, the bicycle, so fast. Like you're 60 kilometers an hour, but you're going so slow. That's like the analogy for how it feels when you really get life rolling. Like I feel so slow in here and so calm, but like the external manifestations and creations and connections and things that are coming and going, and it's just so rapid, and like it's so, like it would be overwhelming if I was trying to pedal that bike at that speed in first gear. But like as you develop and grow and you get up into these higher gears, it's like it feels calm. Like it just feels like you're cruising. Maybe you'll hit an uphill for a little while and you need to drop back a few gears and deal with that uphill, but then you might get a massive downhill and you're just flying again. You're in top gear, you're overtaking all the traffic, and you just like winds in your hair, like best thing ever. How do you ride that bike with somebody else? Chuck them on the handlebars? Like, no, they need to be on their own bike doing their own thing, and you ride together, I guess. But where's the overlap? Like how much do you put yourself into somebody else's life, and how much do you allow somebody else to put themselves in your life? And I guess everybody would have a totally different answer to that question, but I want like a lot of overlap. I want something like, I want to share like a lot of experience. I feel like I love sharing experience. Like I just want to I'm getting there. I also like even just observing somebody else in their element is like awesome. I don't need to be so involved. And I guess like my definition of what it means to be involved with somebody has changed a lot too. It's a lot healthier than it was as I've been going through all of these lessons. I'm at the point now where I've allowed so much stuff to come to the surface of my awareness that now I need to put the camera off and go for a wander and process everything that I just learned about myself. If you learned anything about yourself, please pass this video on to anybody else you know who might learn something about themselves from listening to this monologue. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking and feeling in the present moment. And yeah, that's the end.